Hello, my friends, and welcome to Retro Dogfight. I almost said the other one. The podcast where old guys talk about old flight sims. I, of course, am your co-host, Brian, and joining me as always is your co-host, Chase.
Hey there.
And your co-host, Denny.
Reporting for duty, sir.
And folks, a bit of housekeeping today. We are using a new platform to record our podcasts. For the last year, and even longer with my other podcast, Space Game Junkie, we were using Discord. We would log into Discord, use one of their voice rooms, and I would record over Voice Meter Banana. I would record a WAV file on Voice Meter Banana and use Audacity to edit it and whatnot. And so it was completely dependent on me to edit and regulate the volume and everything. But someone in our Retro Dogfight community, Trickster, recommended this platform called Riverside. I can talk. Riverside. It is a web-based platform in which the platform records individually from our machines as we talk, and then it uploads and makes a lovely audio file from each of the individual tracks. But it also gives the individual tracks, which is nice if I needed that sort of thing. So this show might sound a little different because we're using a different platform, and I hope it sounds better for you all. I think it does. It sounds better on the other show. So I'm excited. This platform it's got some really nice features, and it gets us one step away from using Discord because, let's be honest, excuse my language, Discord is becoming a little bit more shitified of late. So it's good to kind of bit by bit maybe separate ourselves from Discord if we need to. So yeah, this Riverside is very nice. I will tell you all one thing. It's worth the money. The Riverside costs money because we have a hand-raising function. So on the other show...
I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to talk right away. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, same here.
Absolutely. God damn it. Well, we have it if anyone ever wants to use it. It's very nice. I love it. But, well, fine. I can't make anybody do anything. But it's fine. And I'm a little coffee today. I'm going to try and mute the mic if I try and do that while I'm talking. I'm got something. It's not a cold, but I got something. So I apologize for that in advance. So friends, today, since we left behind the notion of going chronologically and are starting to jump around a little bit, like the song says, I decided because my brain wasn't working and I'm like, let's just do this. We're going to talk about our favorite Sims. And that's going to be in chronological order. And so we're starting with mine, 1991's Gunship 2000. If you are not aware, Gunship 2000 is the sequel to 1986's Gunship. It's got more theaters, more helicopters, more features. It's got a lot to it. There's a lot to this game. And it has become, I didn't play it back in the day because I didn't like Gunship. And so I missed it. But after starting to play it 4 years ago, I think, it has become my favorite flight sim for a variety of reasons, which we will get into. So that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I love this sim/game so very much. It just does, it tickles all my boxes. It checks, it just does everything I want in a... Damn it, I'm sorry about that. It does everything I want in a flight sim. And I just love it so much. So let me ask you guys, did you guys play this at all back in the day?
This actually came out kind of before my PC flight sim awakening period. So the earliest memories I have of it are that was when I was in the Navy, living with a bunch of roommates in a big old house, and we just kind of had a crap room where we threw all of our stuff in. One of my roommates was another PC gamer, and he had a bunch in there. And I was just going through he's like, go through his games to see if there's anything you want to play, because we'd swap games back and forth. And he had a copy of this. We never played it. And I took a look at it, but it was like just the I was not into the whole cost of entry kind of thing. By that meaning, I was not in the mindset back then of wanting to crack open a manual. I just wanted to launch the game and have fun. So I never,
Ah,
so I came across it, could have played it, but just chose not to.
that's fair. What about you, Denny?
So I was working at Compute Magazine at that point, and I was managing the game reviews and when it came out, and I remember cracking it open. Was tried everything first to see if I wanted to do it myself, and my reaction was ew, and I sent it to I think it was Peter Olafson to do the review. Yeah, it was not my cuppa. Did I hear you say that you didn't play this till 4 years ago?
Yes.
You liked this in the 21st century. We are
Love
different
it.
gamers, sir.
Love it. Love it. No. So let me give you the story real quick. So after I played, you might have heard part of this. So after I played F-19, fell in love with it. F-19 was my first Microprose game, and of course, it's still one of my favorites. I love F-19.
Just
I wouldn't like. Good.
just who was what was the first Microprose games? Mine is. What about you, Denny? Mine was Silent Service on the Commodore 64.
Ooh, good one.
I'm not sure if it's absolutely the first, but the first one that I remember playing was Solo Flight,
Oh,
which was
Ah,
the really simple civilian flight simulation that they did like back in the early C64 days.
that's a good one though. I've played that a little bit recently here and there. It still holds up with its like got to get the mail on time
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
going. Yeah, it's
missions
good.
landing on hills and things.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
now that
good.
that was early Sid Meier flight simming.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good
And
stuff.
to be honest, the copy I had of Silent Service was a friendly copy, so no manual. But I was in most of those games, unless it was like a dumb arcade game where you could just figure it out immediately, I would just like put it aside. But Silent Service was like I figured it out. I pressed the keys to make it work. I did. I loved that game.
Oh, Silent Service is so good. The second one is one of my favorite subsims of all time. That and Red Storm Rising are like my two like tied for favorite subsims like ever. Oh my god, I love them both.
Anyway,
So I as after I fell in love with F-19, I'm like, oh, these guys have other flight sims. I will go back and try them. And I played Gunship, was terrible at it, just absolutely awful at it. So I'm like, nope, nope, this is not for me. And then I saw Gunship 2000 come out. I'm like, I didn't like the first one. I'm not going to play the second one. I skipped it, completely skipped it. Um, and it was only a few years ago once I played after Tiny Combat Arena came out. I was like, I want to revisit all these old flight sims, even ones I skipped back in the day. And so I played Gunship 2000 for the first time. I'm like, oh my god, this does everything I want. It's a flight sim. It's got the random missions of like F-19, but it's like almost entirely air to ground stuff. If when you level up, you have other guys to command. You could fly a Black Hawk and do like cargo deliveries and search and rescue. You got recon. You got like this guy's everything. So the more I played it, the more just I fell in love with it, and now
Yeah,
it's become my favorite flight sim ever because it's got everything I love.
yeah, and I bounced off it back in the day, and a lot of that had to do not as much with the games as I've just never been a helicopter guy.
yeah.
Mhm.
I like fixed wings and forward momentum, but I do have to say, like having edited the review and knowing about the game, on paper, this thing does so many things amazingly well.
Oh, it
It
does.
had something. It wasn't a dynamic campaign, but how you perform in the campaign reflects what you see on your mission briefings and your overall score. It's like it's not just individual missions that don't affect each other.
It's a tug of war. So it's a
Yeah,
tug of war thing. Yeah, it's
yeah, and
very
I'm sure.
proto early dynamic camp. Very early. Sorry to interrupt. Very early
Yeah.
proto dynamic thing. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the commanding multiple helicopters thing, like this was when wingmen were just starting to come in the game. So that was super cool. And I'm sure you'll go into that. So there's
Mhm.
so much that like is impressive about this. The reason I bounced off it then was I'm just like, I'd rather fly airplanes. It was that simple. Trying to get back into it now for the podcast, and I did. I you can buy this legitimately now on Steam. It was on sale for $6.99 when this was recorded. It might be $10. It's worth it. You get Gunship and Gunship 2000. You get all the patches thanks to one of our co-hosts. And
Oh my God.
it's a really nice package. So I put some time into it. I can't get into it now because the terrain is so stone knives and bearskins primitive, that like you don't get any sense of altitude, you don't get any sense of height, and it's a step over the pyramid polygons of Gunship, but it's still not very much detail. You can hide behind the 8-sided polygon, and like do nap of the earth and pop up stuff and everything, but it's just like just a few years later we had the longbow games, and the stuff like the Comanche from Nova Logic, that had the terrain that you need to make a helicopter sim interesting, and it just, the world they built couldn't get me into it.
Well, it shows. Oh, so go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, I'm just to back Denny up. Yeah. In terms of just back of the box features, it rocks. I mean, for crying out loud, it is essentially, like Brian said, and I feel where you're coming from there. It is absolutely everything you want. You have a tracked career. You have, you earn your way up to wingman. You have a slew of helicopters to fly and missions to accomplish, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That it is just perfect. But then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to ride in Denny's draft here. Yes, the graphic presentation doesn't live up to the rest of the game, particularly in what I found was draw distance. You're on to, if you're on top of something, they're on top of you when you spot them, right? You're never going to creep up on somebody almost 90% of the time unaware, because if they can see you, you can see them, and you're not going to like maneuver towards specks on the horizon, because that speck might just be a scaled sprite, right, or something like that. I mean, I do appreciate that they Microprose did a little something with the graphic engine over F-19. Now you can fly through these like river canyons and whatnot, and these unrealistically tall scaled canyons that just drive me crazy. It's like there is no 1,000 meter deep canyon in Europe. Sorry, guys. So the Y scale is really distorted just so they can actually put something on the screen. But yeah, just to completely back up just all of Denny's point, I'm with him. It's a house fan sim. I'm not into whirlybirds unless they're done so well that it's just amazing. Longbow Gold. The graphics are they're not there yet for low level Nape of the Earth. They could have done a lot more, I think, maybe could have. But as far as where you're going, Brian, yeah, I mean, everything otherwise you would want in a sim, even in 2026.
Yeah, and I'll say, in their defense, as far as maybe could have, when I was looking back at the compute review, the author mentions that it was very sluggish on a 10 megahertz machine, that it was much smoother but a little jerky on the 33 megahertz machine.
So he's trying to run it on an XT, man.
Yeah, I think it's more a case of the hardware not being there to do the level of detail they needed yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
rather than anything on their side.
Well, what I wanted to say was this is a great example of how fast everything moved in the 90s. And
yes.
I mean, this goes to what you were saying earlier, Denny, was like, I show someone like for people who didn't fully express it. I'll show someone like something from like 1991, like Gunship 2000, and then I'll show them like Tornado from like 2 years later, which is like such a step up. And then I'll show them Comanche, and then I'll show them, Jane's Longbow, and then I'll show them like Jet Fighter 3. And then it's like things moved so quickly in the 90s. and but this was like so early 90s. But yeah, they had to write a whole new engine for this because they wanted to use the F-19 engine, but it wouldn't give them the detail they wanted as low as they wanted to go. So they had to write a whole new engine for this. At least that's what they said in either the manual or the strategy guide. There's an interview in the strategy guide that talks about it, or the manual, one of the two.
Just one simple design decision I think would have helped. And I mean, this had been done for a while, even in earlier Sims. What I call the dots on the ground. If you guys know what I'm talking about, if you get closer to the ground, all of a sudden you start seeing like dots, right? Red Baron did it, and a bunch of other Sims do it, and it was something. They tried to do, in this engine, they tried to do like different, really primitive textures and fills,
and trees,
and trees, but the trees are like 90 feet tall. And if they could have done something as simple, like I said, as you've seen before, is just maybe they shot themselves in the foot there just for the quote unquote realism reason, but just kind of that something to indicate that, there's a difference between 50 feet and 100 feet.
Well, I will correct you on the riverbeds. They do only go down to about 200 or 300 feet. I know it looks bigger than that, but they do only go down to about.
I think one of the things that it made me curse at the sim was I was gonna. I'm gonna fly through this canyon, and I'm gonna get to my primary target, and the goddamn canyon just kept going forever, and it's like 500, 600, 700 feet tall, so it's not like it's effort to fly over the top of them. Like, there is no canyon like this in Central Europe. I am sorry.
That's true.
So there's a lot of exaggeration there to, hey, wouldn't flying through canyons be cool? Which is fine.
I mean, they do that. I mean, they say many times in their interviews that their focus was on fun.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things I appreciate with this game. And that's why you can fly through a train tunnel.
Right.
In this game.
Yeah. I tried I didn't do a train tunnel, but I did do a road canyon. And I amused myself. There's like I don't know if it's on the central map or on the Desert Storm one, but there's a road that cuts through and it goes up through a canyon. So it's just not like, I was like, yeah, this is kind of fun. So
But then they're talking about fun things like flying through tunnels, and then you have all of these detailed modeling for the time, different helicopters.
Yeah.
So it feels a little Hydra there, like it's trying to got different heads doing different things, because there's, oh no, you have to have this helicopter to carry this weapon load.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's no point asking Brian, but Denny, did you fly anything but the Apache?
I actually started out in the Huey Cobra.
Really? Yeah. I tried the Super, the Super Cobras and whatnot. And I'm just like, I don't need this old, Tau armed Vietnam piece of crap. I am not going to fly this. So it was like, I did some restraint. I didn't play the longbow. I just stuck with the Apache because that's enough to kill. But
you can't get the longbow. Sorry to interrupt. You can't get the longbow until you rank up to captain.
Yeah, you have to. It unlocks later.
I would disagree. Because if in Desert Storm you can't. But I found it was, I didn't select it, but it was not grayed out or anything in Central Europe.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an unlockable.
Okay.
It's the other thing too, though, is that the helicopters, they basically differ in the bitmap image for the cockpit, which, it's nice that it does try to reflect what it would look like to sit in each one. They don't fly differently. Not
really. Not really.
And the difference between flying, like a UH-60 and AH-1W should be really stark. And Brian Walker, who at the time that he wrote the review of this for CGW, he was a CGW reviewer, and his CGW helicopter coverage ended up getting him a job producing helicopter games. but
Oh,
he reviewed this for CGW back in '91, and he was a Apache pilot in Desert Storm.
oh,
So
dang.
Well, there you go.
so he knows his stuff. Yeah, in his review of the original game, he basically says it's the best helicopter game ever, but it still kind of sucks. Um, the the he reviewed the expansion later, and that one he felt like you make sure that get the legit package, folks, because it's got all the expansions, and that doesn't just add the new theaters. It cleans up some of the control stuff.
Hmm.
And he liked he actually did like the expansion a lot better, but his big complaint was that all of the helicopters, despite having all of them, they just all basically flew like an overloaded Huey.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
And because he was talking about all the cool things you can do in a real longbow, and you can't do them in the sim.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that was a limitation of the time or they were just trying to keep it accessible or what. Did either of you try the realistic flight model? Because I'm going to be honest, this is the sim that taught me that I can't really do realistic flight models.
I
I
tried it.
can't.
I tried it and wind, and just went nope. I noped out, and I went back to no wind and normal or the easy flight
Yeah.
mode.
Oh, I only
Yeah.
flew the realistic one.
Oh, that good on you. Good on you.
I'm a
Hardcore.
flight sim pilot. Jesus,
There you-
guy.
I know that's great though. They did say that they tried to ease it up from the realistic flight mode of the original Gunship. That was a thing because even they thought that was a little too challenging. So they eased it up a little bit in this one.
Yeah, and I mean it's a little challenging, but after trying to do anything in the horribad helicopters and the current versions of Microsoft Flight Sim,
Oh God. Oh God.
those might be flyable if you have like a collective control and other stuff. But trying to do it with a normal HOTAS like throttle, and they like, oh my God, I've killed myself so many times trying to master those things. So this just seemed like, arcade mode in realism compared to that crap.
So yeah, I wanted to do the realistic mode because in the manual, I mean the strategy guide and whatnot, the designer, the developer is like, get to realistic mode as soon as you can. You could do so much more in realistic mode. And so I tried and I'm like, my brain cannot split my focus like this. I can't do it. I just can't do it. My brain can't do it.
It's also hard to fly because the dang collective is on the keyboard.
Yeah,
it's like
that doesn't help.
And yeah, if I could have used the throttle or
that would have helped a lot more.
It would have
that would have helped a lot more.
Maneuver it.
And did joysticks? Did joysticks have throttles in '91?
Yeah.
Okay.
CH had like a little dial throttle on one of theirs. I think it was CH, but I remember having one back in the really early days, and it feels like the Thrustmaster
WCS
throttles came out about that time too.
Okay, because my first CH was '93. I got it for X-Wing, and I remember the little throttle dial on that one. But I didn't have a throttle dial. I didn't have any kind of throttle before that, so I wasn't sure. Yeah, that is tough, and I don't know if there's a way to map like the collective to a throttle. Maybe use VJoy or one of those things. I don't know if that's possible. Excuse me, but yeah, I did try. I did make an attempt to fly this unrealistic more than once, and I'm like, I can't do this. I just can't do this.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, and that's why I bounced off. Even the really good helicopter sims, it's too much chewing bubble gum and walking at the same time.
Yeah,
and it's so unintuitive for me. So I kept it, and honestly, there's nothing you really. That's just going to go back to a great set of features, but the core gameplay is kind of meh. I don't think there's anything advanced that you need to do. I mean, considering that I found the gameplay, which was fine, I didn't hate it. The gameplay seems to be just take off, get to 60, 70 feet, creepy crawl to your target. As soon as you spot them, they'll spot you, so you need to cycle over to what weapon you need to hit them with the weapon. If they shoot back, try to beam whatever is shooting at you, and usually you'll get away with it, and then run out of fuel. And and there you go. That's the gameplay for me anyway, over and over.
Oh.
There was and this made me go into my 86 box and install Longbow Gold, and and get hyped watching the intro reel of them, poking the Longbow's radar over a hill to get lock on before launch and all of that. And it's like, wow, this makes me want to play, Longbow more than, go back to this. So at least I'll probably go back and play that. But yeah, I mean, to me, again, so much neat stuff around it, but the gameplay just not. It was a lot of just waiting until your fuel ran out, which I have a real gripe with how fuel is handled in this game. I understand that. I mean, it's specifically out that it's limited, for gameplay reasons, but for crying out loud, I shouldn't. For a target the next mountain over, I shouldn't be sweating my fuel. But
so Brian, obviously this did not resonate with Chase and I.
Yes.
But because you loved it, see, rather than us get into like why 1991 didn't work for us for helicopter stuff, why can describe like some of the missions, some of the joy, some of the stuff that made this your favorite sim.
Yeah.
Like I want to hear the joy of Brian. With the sim.
It wasn't until the multi helicopter flight opened up that it really just hit my soul. Because one thing that amazes me, did you guys get to that point?
I would say I put about a good 10 hours into this, and I never got beyond warrant officer. So no,
wow.
One of the missions I got was I did get artillery support on one mission, and I couldn't figure out how to use it from the F10 screen because I didn't read the manual. So I'm like, okay, great. But no, I was a single. I put time into it, but I never progressed to the point because I actually played it on a couple of machines. So like I would bounce back and forth, and
that's fair.
But yeah, I mean, Brian, lay it out for us, man. Did we just you piped up that this was like the sim that you loved 4 years ago, and then me and Denny just spent 15 minutes just curb stomping it. What?
No, I appreciate that. No,
what did Gunship 2000 bring to the yard for you?
Well, once multi-flight missions open up, more mission types open up: search and rescue, cargo drop, reconnaissance, that sort of thing. And also the members of your flight using the same map interface. So you give them waypoints, you give yourself waypoints. And the AI for your flight is amazing because you tell if, for example, I would fly a Kiowa, the one with the little radar dome. And I would go behind a hill, peek, look at a target. And then I would give my, the two guys I was with, the two Apaches or whatever I was with, like I would give them a couple waypoints and they would just go do their thing. You don't have to micro them, which is nice. They will just do their job. Like, for example, if you give someone a Black Hawk and they have to find somebody, because there are a lot of missions where you don't know where the target is. That is probably my biggest frustration with this game. Is there are a lot of missions where the target is either moving and you have to find them.
Trains, fucking trains.
Trains are great because there's only the track, and that's it. But it's when they're moving over open ground and they might hit a hill, and do they go left over the hill, around the hill? Do they go right over the hill? I mean, you don't know. So that and like either search and destroy or search and rescue, or search and deploy. And so what's great is like if one of the AI pilots is flying a Black Hawk, and they're in the light element, for example, and you're moving them around, and they find the secondary. You give the waypoint. You give the Black Hawk a waypoint to where they found the guy. And he'll just land and pick them up. You don't have to micro them. You have to tell them land here, do this, do that. They will just do it. And so you don't have to micro them. They will just do their jobs. So it becomes like almost kind of a light strategy game in the way you're moving your pilots around the map along with you. And it's also nice because a lot of times, if it was a search and rescue mission, I love flying the Blackhawk. So I would fly the Blackhawk and let the other helicopter go ahead of me a little bit and let them deal with what's ahead. And then I would fly in and, drop the cargo or drop off the troops or whatever. So I love doing that. I also love flying the Kiowa because it's fun. It's a fun little bird to fly with the mass and everything. And I would if it was a recon mission, I would fly up to a certain point, then send the Apaches ahead, have them deal with whatever's up there, and then I would fly to the recon point. You don't have to do anything once you get to the recon point. You just fly to the point in the map. It's like, oh, primary.
Yeah. Talk about the mast, Brian. You mentioned that because that is the coolest feature of the Kiowa.
Yeah, it's great. So when you get a mast, either on the Kiowa or the longbow, or the Apache longbow, I believe it's F2. You go up over a hill, you hit F2, and the joystick goes from moving your helicopter to moving the sight. And that way you can target enemies from the mast, and you can go back down over the hill.
That's
and you can
cool.
shoot. Yeah, no, it's great. It's great.
Yeah,
it's fun.
If you're listening to this, pop your browser open and just look up the OH-58 Kiowa. How do you pronounce that? It's basically a Bell 206 with this giant camera on top of it.
Yeah, it's great. I think that's the lead designer's favorite helicopter to fly. And you actually get more points the lighter the helicopter you fly, if that's your thing. And you get fewer points if you fly a heavier helicopter. I didn't really fly the Comanches because I would never remember to open the doors.
Yeah.
The bay doors.
Yeah.
I would
extra step, right?
I would never remember to do that because you don't have to do that on the Apache. You just go boom, boom, boom. You don't do that. But with the Comanche, you go, oh, doors, right. I would never remember to open them. But I just love the mission variety that this game gives you with all of its helicopters. The search and rescue, the search and destroy, the cargo drops, and I also love the different theaters. Like not a lot of flight sims cover the Philippines, and one of the flight sims cover Antarctica. Antarctica is a fascinating theater because you get snowstorms, you get electromagnetic interference that throws your compass off, and there are also these. Did you guys ever get a deep strike mission?
No.
Okay, a deep strike mission is interesting because you come in, your base isn't on the map. You come in on a certain part of the map. You flew there on autopilot, they say, and you come in on a certain part of the map, and you got to get in, do your thing, and get out, and leave the map at the same spot. There's no base or anything, so you really have to manage your fuel and your ammo carefully. It's a more advanced type of mission. And those are a lot of fun. They're very harrowing, but they're very fun. Because sometimes there's no base to land on there.
No farps,
yeah, exactly. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. But those are a lot of fun. It's fun when you use the artillery. Again, I'm the kind of gamer that forgets I have grenades. So I would forget I'd have artillery. I used it once or twice. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I'd forget I'd have it. So even if I had artillery, I'd be like, oh, I've had artillery that whole time. So the sim just, because I love blowing stuff up on the ground. That's my favorite thing about flight sims is bombing stuff, shooting missiles and stuff on the ground, blowing up buildings, blowing up tanks, that sort of thing. And that's what the sim gives me. And not only are your guys, the AI of your guys good, they level up too. They get promotions, they get medals, they get better. So you really want to take care of them. And it's really neat. If one of them gets shot down, your next mission will probably be to rescue them and get them back.
That's really cool. I love that kind of immersion.
Yeah, that's very cool. And this game also has a lovely option that earlier Micropro Sims didn't, because again, they want you to have fun, where if you died or failed the most recent mission, you could use the Phoenix option and just replay it. Nice. And you get a little Phoenix on your like card or whatever in the roster, and that's it. You don't lose any points or anything like that. You don't get any kind of penalty because
You
they
can't
want
name
you to
your
have
other
fun.
pilots, can you?
Oh God, I don't remember.
I think you can.
I don't.
You can name
I honestly
yourself.
don't. Yeah, you can name yourself and you can name your squad. But
Because that was always one of my favorite things in really early Sims, and it was a feature that was quickly lost. But like the Larry Holland Sims had the thing where you could name your squadron mates after your friends, and it's always more fun to go back and rescue Brian than it is Lieutenant Smith.
You did that just in PLT files.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can or not. I never tried.
I don't, but describing that kind of makes me wish I'd gotten to the RTS side of this. But this sim combined with like maybe a digital integration graphic engine, right? That it would have been so great. It would have been so great.
Well, diversion, Brian. You know about a new sim coming that's based on the design.
Gunship Origins. Holy cats. Yeah, it was originally called Into the Dawn, which is why I was surprised. I'm like, wait, how do I already have this on my wish list? But the developer of this new thing called Gunship Origins, which folks, if you haven't heard about it, go wishlist that right now, because it is basically a love letter to Gunship 2000. And it looks like it's going to have a lot of the same features that this does. I don't know if it's going to have all the same helicopters or anything, but it looks like it's going to have the flight. Looks like it's going to have the different pilots, the other pilots. It looks like it's going to have a lot of the same features, but of course, a modern, engine. And I'm very excited about it. Holy cats. I am very excited about it. Because we're getting a new Gunship game.
I'm excited to play because I love this on paper, but I couldn't get past the era of the graphics engine. So give me modern world building and that design, and I'm in.
And the nice thing about that one is the dev is claiming it's going to be accessible. Like he says, you can fly it with a keyboard and mouse. Because he wants.
But will he have my favorite feature from Gunship 2000? Which is when you're in the mission setup screen in the office watching the guy write. Did you try clicking the computer of the guy?
Of course.
Pong.
Of course. He's playing Pong, or he's got the Gunship 2000 logo.
Yeah, he's on a BBS at one point.
Yeah. Did you guys see some of the other Easter eggs? Like there are billboards for some other Microprose games in some of the maps. Yeah. I think there's an F-117A billboard.
Very cool.
And there's an F-22 billboard, which I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe that was for what was that game that came out around this shortly after this one? ATAC that had an F-22.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
I didn't play that one. I haven't played that one.
That was another one of those Microprose UK creations.
I hope one day we will play it, because one of the reasons I created this show is to play the games I missed. So good or bad. But yeah, there's just, the more I played this sim, the more I realized it does everything I love. And for some reason, the graphics don't bug me. I can just, it's like, I don't know if I can put myself back into 1991, or it just doesn't bother me at all.
What did you play this on mostly? Did you play this on your computer, or did you play it on your little Android tablet with PC emulation?
Oh, my computer. Absolutely, my computer. Yeah.
I was curious if because the graphics wouldn't look as bad on a tiny little screen, but it's not. It's not the primitive aspect of the graphics. I can forgive that. It's just that I felt it got in the way of gameplay.
Yeah, I think exactly that. I mean, the draw distance was a big deal back then. I mean, you look at any 3D game from that year, either before or after. You get a lot of pop in and a very limited draw distance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this game would have improved immeasurably for me if they had maybe scaled up the bad guys a little bit more, or did some artificial visibility things. Because literally, I mean, you go out, you're flying around, and all of a sudden there's an SA-6 on your target list. You see it, it sees you. You're frantically spacebarring to get over to Hellfires or whatever. to take it out, and it's shooting you, and it's just pop. There it is. Pop. There it is. Pop. There it is. And I never. I wanted that experience of hiding behind a hill, popping up, and not. I mentioned this kind of on one of our channels. Like, Jesus, these guys' decision loops are like they don't have one. It's like they instantly know you are there, and that's the one thing that really bummed me out is in helicopters you're creeping, you pop up, you deal your damage. If it's undefended target, maybe you'll do an overflight to chew them up with rockets and the gun, but otherwise you're going to be doing your killing mainly from a distance. And the whole thing of as soon as you've targeted them at like some ridiculously short range, usually less than 2 kilometers, they've detected you and are already sending ordnance your way. That and the fuel were my two biggest turnoffs. I could have lived with everything else, but the peekaboo, gameplay to me got really old.
Well, if you play with the enemy on the lowest difficulty, they do react a lot slower.
God, I'd hate to see. This is on green. I mean, this is all the way low, and it's like a couple of some bogeys would be like oh look, there's a BMP hasn't instantly spotted me, but if it was like a SAM site or even infantry, it's like on the way. It's like wow, okay.
So I don't know, because with me, like so many times I would target someone, I'd see them go,
yeah,
like creaking along, about to shoot me, and I thankfully hit them before they hit me.
Yeah, I'm not. But, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's something with speed, or
I don't know.
I don't know. But I found the whole peekaboo gameplay really, really tiresome. Just it's like I should be able to see those guys. I mean, and literally, it is. You don't see somebody until you can target them with your selected weapon, right? Which to me made no sense.
Yeah, at least the targeting aspects were definitely a bit gamey. Compared to reality, but it is nice how it identified them, especially since I love Brian Walker's review written back in '91. This reviewer also felt that the marauding Mi-24s resembled flying piggy banks. It was a little hard to tell things apart visually.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did the best they could with 1991 technology.
Yeah,
but yeah, I do agree with you. It can be somewhat frustrating that you're flying along like target right, we're hit. Target left, we're hit. That can get, and apparently that voice is a guy that just worked at Micro Pros, who had done some voice acting before, which I thought was funny. Yeah, that can get a little frustrating. It's taken me a while to become better at missile evasion. Let me tell you what. I always have my left hand on the jammer keys now. Always. Just always have my left hand on the jammer keys now. Just by instinct.
I just had my co-pilot take care of countermeasures, which is another one of those selections you can do. You can have your co-pilot set up to basically do everything, including targeting and firing, countermeasures only or nothing. And we'll give the backseat or something to do other than call target left or target front or target right. So I let him do the countermeasures. Pretty spammy with the flares, but you kind of have to be, the instant that you fly into somebody's range, you got like 3 IR missiles coming at you. It's like, Jesus, you guys are waiting for me. It's like, oh, here comes Chase. Yep, he's almost here. He's flying at 50 feet, and there's no way we should be able to see him or detect him, but there he is. That's again, what you're describing sounds really cool, really fun. I don't want to have to work through the warrant officer levels and then lieutenant or whatever to get to the point where I can actually do the cool stuff. I'll just go play longbow.
That's fair.
If I want a helicopter fix.
That's fair. And apparently there's a game that came out much later called Team Apache, which I never played, that does a lot of those, a lot of the same things that this game does in the multi-team aspect.
That wasn't that like a weird like Team Yankee one where you had like the 4-screen kind of thing, seeing each helicopter?
I'm not quite sure. I just know that someone told me a while back that Team Apache did. I never played Team Apache, but apparently it does a lot of the similar flight things that Gunship 2000 does. But I do plan to play it at some point, or we will at some point, because you know.
I feel like I tried it out back in the day, but it's been so long. I'd have to go back and look at it.
That actually smells earlier than this, because I know I remember. I think it's a follow along from Team Yankee sell in.
Oh, no, it came out Mindscape. It was from Mindscape.
Yeah, it came out like 90. It came out in like 99.
Really?
I think. Yeah, 98, late, 99. Yeah, hang on. Team. I actually have a box of it over there, but I don't feel like running over to get it. Not in the middle of a recording. It's like 98. Everything was coming. Oh, what a year 98 was. 98, 99. Holy cats.
98, 99 where that was the swan song and that was the best that it was going to get.
Oh, it's a Simus. It's a Simus joint.
I thought it was because they did like 10 years before that they did Domark and Simus did Team Yankee. And Simus, now that God, talk about just
they did Flight Sim Toolkit.
Yeah. I remember trying to build a MiG-21 in Flight Sim Toolkit, and I spent a day trying to do that. I said, fuck this.
God, I wish they would make a Flight Sim Toolkit now.
Yeah.
With can you imagine?
With current user interface progress and a modern engine. That would be so much fun. Yeah, and actually, Team Apache, I just looked it up because I knew I was familiar with it. I couldn't remember why. And I was mentioning Brian Walker, who was a CGW reviewer before he became a game designer. I knew him. I got to be friends with him later as a game designer. But this was actually his design. I think he left Simus before it came out.
Oh, yes, original concept.
Yeah, so,
original concept.
So designed by a guy who actually flew longbows. So
that's
fun.
Well. But Simus, talk about your totally forgotten publisher. They had their MiG-29, and
I played
a Harrier jump jet.
I played Super VGA Harrier. A while back, and I really liked that one. That was a great campaign. That. Side note, I don't know if you played that one, but you didn't even have to fly in that one. You could play that strictly as a strategy game if you wanted to. Yeah, you didn't have to fly in that one at all. It was amazing for like 1993 or whatever. Like, holy crap.
I remember that. And they took one of their early engines and they did the Flight Sim Toolkit. Like Denny mentioned, God, if we could have something like that, because that was. I'm sure we'll get into it one of these days, but it was a DOS sim, so you played the sim you made in DOS, but the tools were all in Windows 3.1, and it even had a model editor. So when I'm talking about I was trying to build a MiG-21. I was trying to, and you had to get and you specified like the center of gravity and the wing area and the whole 9 yards. It was pretty cool.
A Flight Sim Toolkit came out in 91. Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God.
A little early.
Talk about ahead of your time.
Right?
Oh my God.
Holy, same year as this. Same year as Gunship 2000. Holy God.
Wow.
That explains why I didn't get too deep into it. You couldn't have done much with it. Wow.
91. That it feels like a much later, because they had like a SVGA engine for it again that ran to Dawson. It's like, wow. Huh.
I know, right? But 91. My God, this is the 90s, y'all. If you weren't around in the 90s or you don't remember much of the 90s, it was an amazing time for these things. Holy cow. That's one of the reasons we're doing this show. It's because a lot of that was lost, and bring it back.
Yeah, but I don't just to wrap this one up. This was something I wanted to play, which mainly because of the back of the box features, and so I kept jumping into it when I had the time. Like I'm going to give it another try. And I'd play one or two missions, and there would just be something in there that would just frustrate me to tears, and I'd be like, this is a waste of time for me. But
I'm
God,
sorry.
if it was, I wouldn't be sorry. I mean, it's interesting going back to since I have never really jumped into it wholeheartedly. It's like, God, if if only we had a little bit more graphic complexity and a little bit, to tweaks to the engagement and the visibility, it would be, I'd keep playing it for sure.
Yeah, I know that they tweaked the fuel because they wanted to keep the missions under 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That was from what I understand, that was why they did that. And that's another reason that
were so short.
Yeah. That's another reason I like it. It's because I feel like it respects your time. I did like that about this game. Like, like so many flight sims are like, okay, I have an hour to kill. Guess I'll fly one mission, maybe if I'm lucky. This one's like, you better get out and back in or we're going to yell at you. If you're out there more than a half an hour, we're going to yell at you.
Yeah, we're going to dead stick you, but it's just kind of frustrating though when the P is all the way across the side of the map and there's no F for FARP anywhere nearby. It's like, I'm not going to be sweating the enemy. My mind's going to be so focused on my gas that I'm like going to forget that I'm actually, I've got the nose down flying 125 knots just to get there. So before I run out of gas, heaven forbid if there's like a tank between me and then I'm going to get drilled because again, with the peekaboo targeting, it's like, who fires first? So.
Did you guys, I'm going to ask in the map mode, did you use the close-up map view to plan your waypoints?
Yeah, I didn't plan my waypoints. It was like, this map sucks because there's no mountains here where it says there's a mountain. And so I'm like, I read a little bit and it's like, oh, press the space bar in F10 mode. Okay, there we go. But it was like, whatever.
Oh, I did that all the time. It adds time and fuel usage, but I weave around hills and mountains all the time using the close-up map view.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't doing stupid stuff like, oh, there's a mountain in my way. I'm just going to go over the damn top of
it. Know. I get that.
I was like, I zip around it and peek at the edges and things like that. But it's like, that's great, but it just ate up 3 minutes of my fuel. The peekaboo targeting, sure, I could get along with, but just combined with some of the other factors, like I have gone all the way down this friggin' train track at 125 knots. There is no train. And things like that. But God, there's so much cool in here. Like, beyond trains, the targets can move. So it's like you get to the waypoint and it's like, where is everybody? You gotta,
you gotta find them.
But again, you're thinking of fuel. And then there's also the, you know what? We don't want you to do this mission anymore. Do this, which was kind of cool.
I forgot to mention that. Like, oh yeah, go do this thing now. Instead, like sometimes sometimes your target can change. I forgot about that mid-mission. Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
It does so much cool on the meta outside the actual flying level. That's like, that's why I wanted to keep jumping into it and to see if it would stick.
The flight recorder.
Yes.
The flight recorder is really good for the era.
Did you guys know that you can open up the flight recorder in the mission editor and save the mission and edit it and save it as a new mission?
As a mission? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, all this cool shit. If just a couple of just really teeth-grindingly awful things were not there, just engagement and visibility and a little more liberal on the fuel. Jesus, this thing just is like.
That's what I'm saying. I love it so much. It does. I don't mind I don't mind that stuff because I can live with it, and it does so much other stuff correctly to me that, oh my God.
Yeah, well, it's not how well the bun tastes. It's the hot dog.
I know, so. But I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's always fine that we don't always agree. I think that's what makes this podcast spicy.
Because,
so that's fine.
Because we are when we get to my sim, we are all going to glaze EAW because it is, it is TK's masterpiece and it is the peak of World War II sim design. But
well, we do have one more to go before we get there. Speaking of which,
glaze that one. The only thing we'll get to it. I have one thing I don't like about that sim that I always bounce off of, but other than that, it's
save it for the show.
Yeah, don't want to bury the lead.
Right. So, friends, next month we're going to move on to Denny's favorite flight sim, which is And my favorite World War II flight sim, which is 1942, the Pacific Air War. And I always forget to put I always forget to put the in there. It's the Pacific Air War. If you guys haven't played that one, it's like one of the most grand World War II sims. Like, it's got so much content. Like, I think that and Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe have like maybe the most content of any like World War II. Like, oh my God, they've got so much content. Oh my God, you can play them for like eons and like barely run out of stuff to do. Because if you haven't played 1942 Pacific Air War, it's got an Admiral mode, which is kind of like its dynamic campaign, basically. They basically took 1942 Task Force, which is like a naval game, and bolted a flight sim onto it. And a good flight sim.
Yeah.
But not only that, you have more traditional campaigns, single missions. It's got so much. It's a huge game. You know what? I'm just gonna side note. I've got the strategy guide for both Gunship 2000 and 1942.
Wow.
There is no strategy guide for European Air War.
I could have sworn I thought maybe I'm just mixing up the manual with it. Yeah, but yeah. Which you need to get that strategy guide up there digitized too.
Oh, I don't know if that one's digitized. If it's not, maybe I'll have to find a second one to send to Trickster like I did with this one. Speaking of which, friends, just a side note, the Gunship 2000 guide has been very hard to find. I found a copy 4 years ago, and then I just found a second copy like a few weeks ago. But good news, I've sent it to one of our community members who is going to scan it, send me the PDF, and I'm going to be uploading that to the Internet Archive. So it's probably going to be up by the time this episode goes live. So I'm very excited that you're all going to finally get to read that fantastic strategy guide. But yes, next month we are doing 1942, the Pacific Air War. I can't wait. I love that game. I love the padlock view in that game. I love all the content in that game. I love the Admiral mode in that game. I could play the Admiral mode for just forever in that game. I love the Admiral mode in that game.
And you know how much time I spent playing that?
How much?
0 hours.
Whoa! Oh, this is going to be interesting.
So I'm going to have to go. I'm going to be installing it right after we're done here.
But wait, you have the top recommended review on Steam.
I do.
But it says 0.1 hours on record.
Yeah,
so
right.
You just got it running and then put it away.
Yeah, I did. Well, on Steam, yeah, because again, I was in that mindset of, I'll support the guys. That was before because I've had the disc with Paw. There was like just this wonderful collection from Microprose. I think it was Conquer the Skies.
Yes.
It had 2000, it had Fleet Defender, and it had Paw. And that was my jam. And I've been playing that, like in DOSBox forever. So
yeah, I've got the box
Conquer
of
the Sky. I mean, that's a freaking smorgasbord right there.
I don't remember if the Conquer the Skies version has the expansion pack for 1942. But I'm pretty sure the Steam version does. I've got the 1942 gold box behind me on the shelf back there because I love that sim so much.
Yep.
I don't know. According to the Steam review by someone named Sharmers, it says that the gold version has a bollocks Win 3.1 multimedia launchers.
It does. It was a DOS sim, but they wanted it to. Obviously when they released this, it was let's throw on a bunch of multimedia crap on top of that. Dynamics did the same thing with the collection that they did of their Red Barons, and it's got like 5 games on there. It's got all the Aces series and then Red Baron, and they threw on this just horrible, created in Macromedia Director with whatever public domain clips they could find. And it installed the sim in DOS mode, right? You weren't running it from Windows. For folks too young to remember, the early Windows, the 95s, 98s were all built on top of MS-DOS.
Mhm.
So you would literally, in some games, the older games that weren't ported to Windows yet, it would shut Windows down and start up DOS to run your game. And that's what they did on these collections. So that's what I mean by that bollocks Windows 3.1 installer on that thing.
But it was educational.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Did anybody actually watch those things?
Didn't you want to learn something? Come on.
Oh, God, no. I just wanted to kick the tires and light the fires. And I'd already, God, how many versions of that damn game have I bought? I mean, I bought the original big box of it. I bought the expansion for it. I bought the Conquer the Skies version of it on CD. And then, of course, just to be complete, I picked it up on Steam. You'll see my reviews on a bunch of those abandonware games on there, like that and Task Force in 1942, where I'm basically giving them shit. And in speaking of giving shit, how dare we skip the Saga of Brian and the Gunship 2000 distribution from Atari?
Oh, yeah. The fact that you can download a playable version is thanks to Mr. Rubin himself.
Right.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot to mention this. So, friends, do you want me to tell the story?
Yes.
That's what we're here for.
Okay. So, friends, when when the Gunship and Gunship 2000 pack came out originally in February of whatever year it was, I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, these are on Steam and GOG. More people can play these. That's great. I bought them both, of course, because that's how I roll. I load them up, and it's like, what the hell? Who the hell are these pilots? What the hell is this? Why does it sound so weird? They basically took the version from myabandonware.com, put it behind a launcher, and was like, here you go. And they didn't even have the manual for the expansion for Gunship 2000, just the basic manual. I don't even think they had the technical supplement. I think they had just the manual. So I gave it a crap review both on GOG and Steam. And I started raising hell in the forums on both GOG and Steam. Someone from Atari eventually contacted me directly and was like, hey, what can we do to fix this? And I was like, I will tell you exactly what you can do to fix this. Here's a guy, because I bought a version. There's a guy on eBay who sells old games, but he sells them. I like what he does. He'll sell you the original CD, but he also sells you a CD with a custom launcher he made to get it running.
Is that Damson?
No. This is another guy. Okay. He will for $20. You basically buy the original CD plus a CD with a custom launcher he built. That will install DOSBox or whatever version of DOS or like a Windows 95 emulator. Like he's really great because I love how he'll give you not only his installer, but the original media. So it's legit. At least I feel it's legit. And I'm like, go look at what this guy's done. And then at one point I could tell they bought it and they basically took what he did and used that. I'm like, no, guys, you can't do this. You can't do this.
No. Fuckers.
And I'm like, guys, you can't do this.
Wow.
I know. So, but they eventually came around and they made it their own. And they eventually uploaded the full CD-ROM version, a clean version. I think what they did was they found a version on CD-ROM, an actual CD-ROM version from 1990, whatever, that had the expansion. And I think but they also fixed the original Gunship too, because that was crashing left and right, because that was an abandonware copy as well. So it took them 4 or 5 months of badgering, but they also enlisted people like me and some other people for internal testing. And after a lot of work, it got to a point where it was playable and actually what should have been sold initially several months prior. So yeah, after a lot of bitching and moaning and complaining and whining and yelling, we got Gunship 2000 and Gunship to where it is today. So I will thankfully take some credit in that. It wasn't just me, but yeah, I feel very good about doing that work because, again, my favorite sim, I did not want people to buy this on Steam and go, what the hell is this crap? I was very passionate about this. I wanted them to have a good experience like I had. So I have to give the folks at Atari credit. They didn't have to reach out to me. They didn't have to do the work to get this working the right way. They didn't have to do any of that, but they did. So I have to give them credit too, So, it took 4 months, I think. But later that year, they got it working. I think there's a video on my YouTube channel about them getting it working. So,
Nice.
So that was a fun saga. That was a fun little saga about this game.
And I gotta say, I love the launcher they put on it.
Yeah.
Now where you can choose your resolution and get to the manuals and all that. Like they did a nice job.
They put effort into it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because like before that, somebody dumped 1942, a Task Force 1942 out there, and I gave them a bunch of help because they literally dumped. I don't know if it was from my abandonware or not. They literally dumped an ancient Wares distro out there.
God.
That I recognized immediately, made by the fact that the info files from the Wares distribution group were still included. And I'm like, oh my God, guys. And so you can read my reviews on Steam, and I've got comments in there. And they eventually, it's been a road, folks. There's been people who have been buying these IPs, and initially they were just dumping them out there. Here's DOSBox. Maybe it's at the right cycles, maybe it isn't. We got the distro from my abandoned or from some Wares distro. And now with like Brian here doing videos on it and shit, we're actually getting, okay, there's some respect, with deserved of these Sims. We talked about this at length on the last podcast with the re-release of ADF. But yeah, where I think that should be the bare minimum of re-releasing a Sim, but at least with Gunship 2000 now, if you go out and buy it, you're going to get all the goodies. You're going to get a decent launcher. So for those of you folks who are listening to Brian more either than me or Denny, and you choose to buy it, you actually get something that has had a little care and tweaks put into it to make it, it's at its core, it's still just a clean copy of the Sim on DOSBox, but it's worth it.
That's awesome. Yeah, so that was fun, but it was worth it because now people can buy the game as it should be.
Right.
Both games. Because again, Gunship, I think Gunship is worth playing. I think Gunship, the original Gunship, Amiga, is worth playing. Yes, we did. Go back to whatever episode that was where we had that discussion. I think it's episode 5 or 6, maybe. Yeah, but still, we did talk about Gunship specifically in an earlier episode. So that's going to do it for today, my friends. Next month will be 1942, the Pacific Air War. Very excited about that. Wonderful game. And don't forget to check your 6. Have a wonderful month, everyone. We'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Later, folks.
I'm out.